Summertime and the questions come easy on the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
You know, there wasn't an idea from the chat for another episode intro, but we might just have to keep that one in our pocket. So, anyway, hi, what's up? Hi, I'm here. Hello, I'm Kyle, that's Ian, and we're doing a BumbleKast.
We are. We're doing some summer cleaning here. We've reorganized the tiers over on patreon.com so that everything is the same across the board. There was a bit of a loophole for our Patreon patrons for the longest time, and it didn't matter because we were a small show. It was fine. It was workable. Now, because you guys are so wonderful, we actually have to treat this seriously. This has become an actual job for us now. So now it is across the board. $5 will get you one question per week. $10 get you two. 15 get you three. 4 get you 20 get you 4. I can math. I can do this.
And also, it's per month, not per week.
Right.
We shifted to per month. So
and we've also got a new $25 tier if you want to throw 10 to 15 questions at us for one nice big, exclusively you mini episode. So we are adapting to what you need and what you want and to try to keep things in some semblance of control. So head on over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member and ask some questions. Get them answered. It's what we do.
It's going to be controlled chaos, really. That's where we're at this moment. The chaos is very controlled. Who knows what will happen though beyond that? I don't know if it's going to stay that way.
It all begins with this: the tiers containing the ultimate structure, chaos control.
Go ahead and join the Patreon or any of the other options and see if we can keep things under control. That's how you can follow us and find out. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm sitting there holding down the hatches while the things are banging on the other side, while the tornado is trying to blow them open on the other side. No! So yes, join us. Or at least join us to listen to the answers to these questions that we're going to ask right now. We're going to ask Ian these questions, and he's going to answer them
to the best of my ability. And
there's even a question for me in here somewhere, I think. There might even be a couple, which is weird. I don't know. I'm scared, Ian. Why are people asking me questions? I'm not the question guy. I ask the questions around here. Scared.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to get questions asked at you.
Oh no. Well, we're not quite there yet. I'll be getting the questions a little bit later, but first we have questions for you, Ian. We're starting off with one from Alex Arts here. In the July 22nd, 2022 episode, Ian said that he's pretty sure Chaotix is canon to Classic, and Classic is the past once again. If that is the case, then how does one reconcile Chaotix and Heroes, where they seem to be entirely unfamiliar with Eggman?
I'd have to go back and watch the Heroes cutscenes again, but I don't think they were unfamiliar with Eggman. It's just Espio and Charmy were fooled by the very light voice filter coming over the walkie-talkie, and that when they discovered it was Eggman who hired them, it was the shock that it was Eggman and not an actual client. I mean, Vector's got it figured out halfway through the game. Number two, we're talking 30 years of games that never had a overarching plot idea for them. Not everything's going to sync up in retrospect.
Yeah. They didn't really plan this out. I'm sorry. There was no grand overarching scheme of Sonic games. Some things you love happened by accident. Other things happened by circumstance. And again, other things happened because they didn't care. It's kind of silly that way. So, you just have to be like, sometimes you just have to be like, yep, that's how it was. That's not how it was. Sometimes you just have to gaslight yourself into remembering the past differently.
Don't do that. That's terrible advice. We here at the BumbleKast are not psychological practitioners. We are not licensed in any form of self-help. Don't listen to us. Just smile and nod.
Don't listen to us. Absolutely not. Do not. What are you doing here? Stop. Alex GS has a question. If Tails were to magically disappear and be forgotten by everyone in universe, boy, that's mean. Rude. Would anyone else be able to fill the role of Sonic's best friend after this? Who else could it be? Whether Sonic remembers him or not, is his brotherly bond with Tails too precious to be replaced?
I think so. Like, he has plenty of friends, and he'd never be lonely. But I think there would always be this kind of lingering feeling that he's missing something. That his life just isn't complete in some facet. And he can't lay his finger on it because, I don't know, Doctor Strange did his voodoo somewhere and Tails got evaporated. But it wouldn't be right. Sonic needs a Tails, and that's just a cosmic truth.
Well, apparently Knuckles is Sonic's best friend in the OVA. But
they also call him a mole, so...
good point. But that's different from brother. And while they're not related brotherhood, I'd say Sonic and Tails are brothers, effectively. So maybe that's what they meant. Also, Knuckles isn't a mole? I thought he was.
You know better. I'm not falling for that.
Here's a question from Alphamon or Yukon. On the subject of Mega Man, there's a specific detail that's been bugging me for a while. In issue 20, during his time-jumping shenanigans, Mega Man encounters his future self, Quint, who simply decides to destroy his past self and let the time stream figure out the rest. However, later on, Mega Man encounters what appears to be Quint, only for him to claim, "No more will I simply be Mega Man's shadow," hinting that this might have actually been our shadow from Rockman and Forte. However, his armor is just like Quint's instead of how he originally appeared in that game. So my question is, were there plans for a unique connection between these two? Would Quint have somehow avoided his own destruction, or being erased from time, and become our shadow? Would this have led to the robot masters known as the Dimensions showing up as well?
So this was kind of a prelude to what would have been some tap dancing on my part. Because when we were putting this story together, we found out that we could not reference the Wonder Swan game. So we could not reference Rockman and Forte 2. We couldn't reference Our Shadow or any of that. But I wasn't going to just leave that alone, although you absolutely could. I mean, really. It doesn't bring a lot to the table. 5 people may have played it. It's fine. It could have been just minutia, but no. I've got to make more trouble than it's worth. So the idea was that when we got to Rockman and Forte 2 in the timeline, since we couldn't access it directly, we would just kind of quasi-adapt it. So Quint would take the role of Our Shadow, who, for all intents and purposes, is Quint. Come on now. Do XP versions of the Dimensions, and a kind of homage-esque approach to that story. I remember back then there was some discussion of it on the forums, and there were some hardcore Mega Man fans who just did not like that. They would prefer either to go purist or nothing at all. And some others going, no, that makes enough sense. I mean, adapt something for fun. I mean, it's a Wonder Swan game. Come on. Moot point, because, I don't know if we'll ever get there. But that was the thinking at the time.
Well, Sonic fans have the same thoughts of the purist adaptation versus interpreted adaptation, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
and there is some narrative meat on exploring Our Shadow versus Quint and what that could mean.
Right.
But Quint himself is so starved for content. I feel like it makes sense to sacrifice Our Shadow to give Quint more room to grow.
Yeah. And Mega Man lore is just a mess anyway, just like Sonic. So, whatever.
But that line of him saying, I will no longer be Mega Man Shadow was a very heavy wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is the reference we're making.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Shadow Man's over there like, what am I, chopped liver? Here's a question from Andrew D. what's the deal with Moebian robots? And were Moebian badniks like SWAT bots powered by Mobini?
I don't think we ever saw anti-Mobius badniks, or goodniks, I guess you'd call them. But if we're going to follow the trend, then they would have been invented by Dr. Kentobor, because Dr. Robotnik made badniks. Except Dr. Robotnik tries to conquer the world, Kentobor's trying to preserve it, so they would be, I guess, resilient outer shells and machines to survive the suppression squad, trying to maintain nature and restore devastated areas. And instead of being captured animals, they would be volunteer animals who want to hop in and help restore their environments, thanks to the kindly doctor's robots. Maybe we could have spun that out of the whole Omega unit thing. I mean,
yeah,
you hit a speed bump with the idea that, in the normal world, all the small animals are like joyful, happy creatures. So it would track that Anti-Mobius, they're full of little nightmares, little nasty ankle-biting critters. But I mean, you can only adhere to the mirror thing so far before it kind of collapses under itself.
Maybe
they're restoring their environment out of spite. Scourge wrecked their home, so they're going to build it back. You jerk.
Mobini is a funny word.
It is. They're teeny Mobians. Mobini.
That's true. Yes, but it's still funny.
Teeny Mobini, banana fana fofini fee fi fomini.
Mobini.
We have a question for you, Kyle, from Arcfighter.
All right. Well, here we go.
Well then, Kyle, since you have played through Freedom Planet and know the story, I have a question for you. How much of a threat do you think Lord Brevin would be if he happened to land on Sonic's world? Do you think he'd be a big enough threat to require Supersonic?
Now, I want to preface this. I haven't played Freedom Planet's story mode in ages. It's been a super long time, like since the game came out, pretty much. So I have a really hard time recalling any of the details. I looked it up to kind of try and refresh my memory as much as I could, and I think so. I think he'd be a big enough threat to require Supersonic. I don't know if it would be like if he came with his whole army across to the to Sonic's world, to the Sonic universe. That might be. I think he'd be a pretty big threat. So, I mean, he's kind of a Dr. Eggman XP in a lot of ways as it is. So, I think I could see that. You've played Freedom Planet, right, Ian?
I played through just the normal stages to a point.
Okay, because that's generally how I've gone back to it, is just been playing through the story. So I don't remember the storyline very well. But from what I do remember, I think he would be a big enough threat to require Supersonic. He has that. I think he'd have that potential at least. So, yeah. If you agree or disagree, put it down in the comments below. And also, Freedom Planet 2 is apparently coming out very soon.
Oh yeah?
Yes, for the PC on the PC side. So
yeah.
I think the September 13th, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yes, but that's only on PC. The console releases are going to be coming next year, I think. So
still good for them.
But apparently they're almost done. So as far as the game content itself, so that's exciting. I have been looking forward to that game for a while. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it's good. I mean, they got Christian Whitehead on board this time, so should be all right. I think it'll be all right. We'll see. Here's a question from Ava Arctic. So we know there were plans for Sally and Nicole to be really, really, really great friends in the reboot, but were there plans on how far this would have gone? Would have just been something like how Sonic and Amy were great friends in post-reboot, or with Bunny and Antoine level of the bestest of bestest best friends?
I honestly don't know, because we only got so far as like laying the foundation in Spark of Life, and the next step would have been for them to realize the feelings and commit and then grow from there. It was a very long-term plan, and we didn't know how far we would get with it, either between Archie or Sega, so it's really hard to say.
Ladies love slow burns.
I mean, the intention was to be overt, but, best laid plans and all that.
Eventually. Here's a question from Axis. It was recently announced that Sega Hardlight is working on an ambitious, narrative-driven new Sonic game. Since you're the godfather of all current Sonic storytelling, I just wanted to ask if you're involved with this game in any capacity.
Since when was I the godfather of all the Sonic? What can I say? I am like fringe tangentially associated with it.
All right.
It's probably better to just say it boils down to knowing Smile, and that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say. You should just say hashtag knowing Smile.
Well, people are getting tired of hashtag knowing Smile, but really, it covers a lot of bases.
People are getting tired of it, but it's true. And it's all you can say. Like, come on, guys. Oh, well. Batman69 LOL has a question. Let's deal with the big gray oof in the room. Ian and Kyle, if you could edit a big oof into any panel in Archie Sonic, which do you think would be the funniest?
Dr. Quack coming out and saying that Sally's dead. There, you happy? Have I pissed off enough people yet?
You win. I can't top that. Maybe the Tommy Turtle panel where Sonic is holding nothing and he's just staring. Put the big oof in there. Big oof. Terrible. Awful. Amazing. I love it. I hate it, but I love it. Blue Rat has a question. Is it possible that another different girl falls in love with Sonic in the comics or games, or is there rules for that? I'm not going to say names to avoid conflicts, and I know that he couldn't date her either, and that's fine. I'm just curious if yes or no.
I guess it's possible, but with the general direction of don't dwell on romance, I don't really see a point to doing it. Like, if Sega introduces something, that's them. They control the license. We follow suit. I don't see a point in doing it in the comics because we wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. We had that already several times over in the previous comic. We don't need to do that this time.
I mean, all the ships are currently in dock. We don't need to build another one.
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to set sail on the Tangle and Whisper ship. You just say the word. I will cut the line and away we go. Gonna ride this thing into the ground. Here's a question from Bowser Studios. You've mentioned that the IDW Classic Sonic comic takes place sometime after Mania, but does it take place after Sonic Mania Adventures or Sonic Mania's Encore Mode DLC? I'd say Sonic Mania Adventures because Heavy King was rebuilt and is clearly shown to be in working order in the ending of Encore Mode. Well, he wasn't in Mania Adventures, but I'd love to hear what you think.
When I say Sonic Mania, I mean everything under that umbrella. Adventures, Encore, if it has Mania in the title, I kind of group that as one general event. Yes, there's some continuity to it, but just when I say Mania, I mean all of that. So it's after the Mania events. All of them.
All of the Mania. Sonic Mania never ends, though, really, if you think about it. It started in 1991, and as far as I can tell, it's bigger than ever. And we got a question here from Chaos Sonic 1. Say Sega's forced you to incorporate NSFW ideas, aka, as you say, the day the Sonic franchise dies. Would you do it like how the Fate Stay Night series does? Make a few sex scenes and make it work within the story?
I'm not familiar with the Fate Stay series at all, so I can't speak to how they work in their adult content, but I don't know. I haven't ever entertained the thought because it's never going to happen. If the Sonic brand were to go that route, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it,
They'd have to age everybody up.
No,
like the portrayals of the characters would have to be. Would everyone have to start wearing pants? Like what? How would that work?
Oh,
I don't.
I'm not going there. This is a family show.
Way too many. Wait, the logistics of this are difficult.
I am tempted to riff and have fun with this, but again, we are a family
We
show.
probably shouldn't go too far into that. No,
We don't want to be demonetized, so
we can be demonized, but not demonetized.
Google search with the safeties off. You'll find out what would have happened in a not safe for work Sonic.
Ian, you don't say that. You know
I
what's
I don't encourage it.
You know what's out there.
I do. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go out into the wilds, be prepared.
Ian has seen what you guys draw, and he judges you accordingly.
No.
As do
I don't
I.
judge.
I don't either. I'm
Yeah.
joking. I was just making a funny. Was it funny? I don't know. Probably not.
Everybody's got what they like, and it doesn't necessarily cross my threshold, but you do you.
Yep.
What happens between you and your browser is strictly between you guys.
If you're not hurting anybody, have fun. I guess. Chaos Shadow has a question. We got Chaos Sonic, now we got Chaos Shadow.
They're growing, multiplying.
There's so much chaos. The chaos is all over. I keep on hearing that Garfield is part of the Segaverse, since his game is packaged with one of Sonic's. So I was wondering what a Sonic and Garfield crossover would be like.
Eggman conquers the cul-de-sac that John lives on.
This is another Sonic Boom plot, isn't it?
Probably approaching it.
Yes.
Garfield's just kind of around for most of the antics.
He is round, yes. That's his thing.
Says to Eggman, I hate Mondays too, but you don't see me trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
Could I get rid of Mondays? But effort. Odie would be the one who saves the day somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Just like blindly runs into the reactor to stop the Death Egg laser or something.
Yeah. Super Odie. That's right. We gotta have Super Odie.
Post-credits scene of Normal popping out of the box going, here we are back in Abu Dhabi. And Marine's like, g'day, mate. Where you been from?
Abu Dhabi's not Australia.
Exactly.
Everything is canon, including that Sonic and Garfield crossover. All because they packaged a Sonic and Garfield game together one time on PC. Thank you, Sega. And what was that? Expert Software, probably? I don't know. They were the ones doing a lot of the PC game distribution for Sega back then. I don't know who it was. But thank you. Thank you to them. Now we have this. Here's a question from Ann Tales. If Chris Thorndike were a Mobian, or Sonic Worldian, which animal would he be? Funny answers only.
Binturong. Then he'd have a redeeming feature because he'd smell like popcorn.
What? I'm confused and scared and I don't understand. What?
The Binturong. The bear cat.
Bear cat. Oh, okay.
It's just like this nifty little mammalian thing that apparently smells like popcorn.
Really? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I've never heard of it before. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. It's kind of got the same color as his hair. They're both kind of scruffy looking. It's got a prehensile tail. He's really clingy. It matches. It fits.
All right. I'll take it. I suppose.
You can't go wrong with the Binturong.
Wow. They even have a nice tagline. Cool. Nice. All right. And with that, I think we're going to take a break because I don't have any answers to this one. You've taken all my answers. But it's okay because we'll be back with more answers on the BumbleKast. We have returned, and we have a question from Charlie. Let's say in a perfect world where you could do a fun crossover story with any franchise, what franchise would you do a crossover story with? I'd personally love to see a fun, non-canon Dragon Ball Cross Sonic crossover.
Sure. I feel like we've done this a lot.
Oh.
Sonic and Dragon Ball, Ninja Turtles, Knights, Mario, Star Fox.
My Little Pony, Transformers. Yeah. I mean, you could do them all.
Sonic kind of fits in nigh upon any mold. He's just a very versatile franchise. Now, if you want to say any crossover just for fun, because he didn't specify Sonic there at the beginning, just a crossover for fun. I think it'd be neat to see some kind of Metroid and Zelda crossover.
Yes.
Whether that's you style all the trappings of the Hyrule settings in space, or some kind of space horror lands in Hyrule, and Link has to handle it with just his magical melee MacGuffins, and Samus is just like absolutely obliterating the temples that she goes to. Would also, along that line, love to see a Kirby Metroid crossover, because they're both in space.
Mm-hmm.
They both can handle all sorts of cosmic horrors. They have technically crossed over in the past. So, just have Kirby be the adorable sidekick as Samus is, making her way through the eerie space station or the long forgotten hive on some distant world, and Kirby just kind of plodding along. Ploil! And, oh no, here's the 14-armed acid drooling bug monster, and zoop, Kirby eats it. And now he has cute little fairy wings.
Apparently Samus is in Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wasn't joking. They have technically crossed over.
Yeah, I thought you were just referring to Smash.
No. Kirby takes out some Metroids for her.
Nice. All right, cool.
This is legit.
Okay, cool.
Build on it. That's the reason why she trusts this strange blobby vacuum thing, because she knows it is a force of good.
Okay, good. All right. See, my Kirby lore is a little lacking, but I'm glad that has happened. I want it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
And then Kirby eats a Metroid, and he turns all translucent and green, and has a horrible little fangy mouth.
I know some stuff about Kirby lore. I know it's a lot darker than it lets on. That's for dang sure. That's for dang sure. Woo-wee. That sounds awesome. I would love to see that, actually. That kind of gives me the Samus teaming up with Pikachu vibes from the old Subspace Emissary. The cute, adorable creature teaming up with the badass, hardened space warrior. I like it. I'm here for it. Here's one from Dapper Shinks. Do the Chaos Emeralds scatter across the planet like Dragon Balls, or do they gather in the vicinity of somewhere that's going to be important by some kind of fatalistic will? Because especially if special zones are purely mechanical, it's awfully convenient that Sonic and friends are able to collect them just laying in specific places that storyline happens to take place in. The classic games, Heroes, Advanced Trilogy, Colors DS, etc.
Yeah, I don't know myself. I know that they vanish once used, but beyond that, I have no idea if there's an official answer for that. I mean, it does seem mighty convenient that they just happen to be around where everybody else is, but that could just be because that's where they landed and that's where Eggman went to cause problems and the Sonic responds.
Alrighty. And we got a question here from Darth Grader. Follow up to an earlier question. Why is it necessary for the story that Sonic tells Surge, an abuse victim, to let her abuser go unpunished? Why did it need to be written this way? What prompted this choice from you?
He didn't. He didn't remotely say that. He has an entire bit of dialogue talking about how if you cross somebody or if you endanger others, he's going to stop you. So he would stop Starlight. And he's not telling Surge to forgive anybody. He says that's what he's doing. That's his worldview. His big monologue to Surge is him trying to diffuse the fight between them. Like, let's back it up a step. In Sonic 50, you can't look at it from Surge's perspective because Sonic doesn't know it. You know it, sure. Sonic has no idea what's going on. Up to the point where they actually fight, he's had to watch Belle go cuckoo nuts, put down Motobud, and now they're running off into the night where a new Eggman city is being built, and it's just overrun with badniks. And right before he can begin to figure out what's going on, somebody chokeslams him at Mach 1 into a wall. He doesn't know where his friends are. He doesn't know if they're safe. And when he tries to figure out what's going on, he gets this long diatribe about how she hates him and how she's going to murder everyone that he knows and loves and tear down the world. And his response is, let's try this again. Who are you? She then proceeds to try to murder him. And he says, look, I don't know what your deal is. You got some damage, but I'm willing to let it slide because I want everyone to have the freedom to have a second chance. Even my enemies, I will give them a second chance. And in that context, I'm willing to give you a second chance. That's everything from Sonic's perspective. He has no idea what Starline has done to Surge. That's the perspective that I think some people aren't grasping. He doesn't know what's happened. And he has asked multiple times to be let into the context. And Surge's response has been, I'm going to kill you and everything you hold dear.
I think it might be worthwhile to reread the story and, just refresh yourself on it. Here's a question from Dove. Just finished rewatching Treasure Planet. I freaking love this movie. So underrated. Love to see more based in the universe it made. What are some unloved/underrated films you guys would like to see more of?
Well, Treasure Planet #1, yes. Fantastic film. Thank you very much.
I don't know if I have ever seen it, and I'm probably going to get somebody going, what?
Let me be the first. What?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's good. I like it. It's Treasure Island in space.
Treasure Island in space, huh? All right. Well, all right. I'll take that. Okay.
There is one particular character turn at the very, very end that is very hand-wavy lampshaded, but I feel like that the line that they use is comical enough, and there has been enough up to that point that I'm willing to forgive it. It is a bit light, sure, but that's like the biggest mark I have against it. It's love it.
Yeah,
great movie.
Do you have any additional ones to go with the question?
See, that's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of some too.
Because I feel like I'm already kind of caught in the current of the mainstream. If anything, it's like, oh, you should have watched this. I'm like, what was the heck again?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see a follow-up to Pacific Rim. It's a shame they only made the one.
In the realm of fantasy swashbuckling, I never got to watch it really myself, but I would love if Pirates of Dark Water got another chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what little I saw of it and what research I've done on it, it sounds fascinating and a wonderfully ripe playground of an IP. And as far as I can remember, it just seemed like they went too big, too bold, too fast. And it just couldn't generate the returns like they needed to justify the expenditure.
Mm-hmm. I got one that I would like to see, and it might surprise you, but the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie. I would like to see more of that world. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with Mario. I know. I know.
Well, neither did the movie.
No, that's what I mean. Like, the movie originally has nothing to do with Mario. It doesn't matter. It's just such a weird, funky world, and I kind of like it. It's just saddled with the name Super Mario Brothers, and the expectations for it were different than what it ended up being. But the world the world that it creates is so interesting and different and weird. It's Mario, but it's not. It's way off. But there's still a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of redeeming factors in that movie that just doesn't get the love it deserves. Like the set design and stuff, the dino world. It's so interesting and different. So I feel like there's something they could have built on there.
Kinda in that vein, Motor City. I wish that got a second season.
I'm not familiar with it. But...
somebody described it once as like Sat AM meets Ed Roth through the Disney filter.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It really was. I super dug the art style. The characters were a lot of fun. The main villain is voiced by Mark Hamill. It's just cool kids in cool cars driving fast to protect their grungy undercity from the super immaculate overcity.
I like that.
It's the plucky resistance of color-coded heroes. against the hyper technologically advanced overlords.
Okay. This sounds like it's up my alley. I don't know why I would have never watched this.
I don't think it was ever marketed.
That might be why. That might be why.
But yeah, I really dug it.
That's Motor City, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I got one last one here. And on one hand, I'm kind of thankful this never got a sequel in a world where we get thousands and millions of sequels and continuously. But on the other hand, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more of the characters. Megamind.
Isn't it getting a sequel?
Is it? Oh. Well, I wouldn't surprise me at this point given, it's getting a TV series.
Okay, that's what I heard. Okay.
But, okay. Well, on the one hand, that's cool, but
I understand. Like,
yeah,
it's a fun setting and it's fun characters, but you kind of worry, can they make lightning strike twice?
Yeah, it's such a good standalone movie that it's like, what? Why do we don't need more? As much as I would like to see more, we don't need more. It's
like, is it just going to be more lampooning of superhero tropes? Because I feel like that's kind of gotten old at this point. But I don't know. You can't judge something before it comes out.
Well, I mean, that's always evergreen. Darkwing Duck was doing that back in the early 90s.
Yeah. I kind of wish Mystery Men had come out later than it did, because it's hilarious.
It is. It's before its time, really, because
before its time.
Yes, because the superhero thing hadn't really caught on at that point. I mean, there was a little bit of that as a follow-up to Batman '89, but not anywhere near on the level as we have now.
Yeah.
So, way before its time. We got a question from Dreamboatin. So what happens if Chaos gets their hands on the Super Emeralds?
More perfect or chaos.
Here's a question from Endabend. During the good ending of Sonic Mania Plus, Eggman and the Phantom Ruby are sucked into another one of the Ruby's portals. Eggman is still around after the fact, unless he isn't. But what happened to the Phantom Ruby? Is it still in the classic verse, or has it been whisked away to who knows where, with Infinite still stuck inside?
I have no idea, dude. When it comes to the fate of the Phantom Ruby, I have nary a clue.
Did it go into Forces, or was this post-Forces? I don't know. Timeline wibbly-wobbly shenanigans, things, confusing. I'm scared.
I mean, the whole Mania Plus Encore mode campaign is kind of questionably canon, given that it's Sonic returning from Forces there, but he also does it in many adventures. So which one do you find? I don't know. It's all Phantom Ruby shenanigans. Just smile and nod.
I will do that. And then I will ask you this question from Exadel. If the worlds were still linked, how do you think Mega Man's world would handle the metal virus pandemic? Do you think they're more technologically advanced world and almost comical level of near Eggman level geniuses like Dr. Light, Wile Cossack, and etc. would give them a better chance to reverse engineer and cure the virus?
Oh, absolutely. Mega Man's world would be much better off. For one thing,
probably not even be really a factor. Like once a breakout happens somewhere, they'd probably contain it and figure it out.
To a degree, I mean, Wily would try to find a way to control it.
Right, and I guess that's true.
Oh, I can turn people into robots. My perfect world.
Yeah, but then I think he would. He has a bit more of a conscience than Eggman does, so I think he would eventually get to a point where it's like, nope.
Whether it's, he gets infected and he's like, oops.
Yeah.
Again. Or like maybe Kalinka gets infected and he's like, oh, maybe I did go too far. But this is also a society with, helpful robots built into the infrastructure and robot masters, which have the wherewithal to take care of people and corral the infected who can't infect them in turn. So yeah, classic Mega Man. It'd be scary for a little bit, but they would get through just fine.
Yeah. I don't think it would be as big of a deal for them. Finest Cacophony is here with a question. If Omega were to have an animal powering him, what do you think it would be and why? Personally, I think it's a crab. Something that stubborn and hard-headed is the only animal I could imagine that would relish forever being inside a walking apocalypse like Omega.
If it were up to me, I'd make it a squirrel as an homage to Short Fuse.
Yeah.
Throw a bone to the Sonic the Comic fans.
Uh-huh. I have seen fan art of different animals inside, whatever different Mobinis were inside of, could be inside Omega. One is just a really, really, really angry Flicky, which is very funny.
That one.
Which is very funny. I like that one a lot. Yeah. Yes. Good stuff there. Here's a question from Green Hill Zone 99. When are Amy and Knuckles going to have a significant role again in the Sonic IDW comics? I'm tired of it just always only being Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and now Surge all the time. I keep waiting to see if the next issue will be different, but it's not. I've completely lost interest in a comic that I used to love.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's not really something to be directed to me, per se, but more to IDW, whether through their letters pages or their social channels. You know, if you're discontent with content, I mean, sure, feedback to me is one thing, but Evan's lead writer and the editors are more to hear that sort of thing, because this isn't really a question so much as a complaint. I mean, Amy had a full 3-part story arc to herself not too that long ago, and then we shifted focus to building up to what we have now. I can't spoil what's coming next, but you know, it's a Sonic book. There's a lot of characters. We'll be focusing on each of them as we can. Knuckles is particularly difficult because he's supposed to be up on Angel Island. We've covered this so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's off the island, he's doing a bad job of guarding the Master Emerald. But if he's doing a good job guarding the Master Emerald, then he's up on Angel Island where nobody else is. And there's only so many times you can put that island and Emerald in peril before it gets stale. And it is stale at this point. So, but we're working on stuff. We've got some neat ideas for 2023. So,
yeah. I mean, Surge is relatively new addition, to be honest. She was in Imposter Syndrome. And
which
now
is a side series that
technically,
so I don't know if that would really count.
Yeah, so really she's kind of only been in like 2 or 3 mainline Sonic issues.
Yeah.
So she's I guess if you're talking previews, she's going to be in more. And if you're not a fan of the character, I guess that's understandable. And
sure.
Belle has been playing a big role lately, which I could see. Maybe some people don't like Belle that much and they're getting tired of her. I get it, but
we got the annual coming up later this year, and that's a lot more individual character focused stuff. So
yeah, yep.
I mean, if you like Knuckles, # knowing smile.
I'm always ready for Knuckles. And I'm also ready for the question from Happy Times. Do you think there's an irony and even unfairness that even though X was made to have free will while Mega Man is still just following his programming, Mega Man chose to get turned into a fighting robot to Light's surprise, while Light had already assumed that X not only would fight, but will? X wasn't even given a civilian identity or look while in his pod, with a capsule containing the basic armor left nearby just in case. X is only seen in armor even when he was awakened, as if Light bolted the armor and Buster on X before he even got to know what X or the future would be like.
Well, yeah, but this is his 4th kid. The first one is basically slowly dying of robo-cancer and was lost to him. He thought he was dead for the longest time, and he came back with a chip on his shoulder. And his other child has fought space robots and killer viruses and God knows how many uber robots armed to the teeth and barely survived multiple times. So I would think that Light's eternal optimism was tempered ever so slightly. So when he's creating X, this truly living individual, synthetically made notwithstanding, a true living robot, he's like, you know what? I've seen a lot of stuff in the recent years. I'm going to make sure my boy's prepared. You know, he wouldn't want X to have to fight, but he was going to have to leave him behind. He knew he was going to die before X was ready for the world. Who knew what X would find coming out of that capsule? So, you know, Best case scenario, capsule opens up, X comes out fully armored and armed, and he doesn't need it. Worst case scenario, something else has invaded Earth. Everyone's dead to, I don't know, the horrible acidic brain worms, and X has to pop out and fight for his life immediately. I think it's less Light taking away the option for X and more him wanting to prepare the next generation for whatever hardships may meet him. And having played the X series, you know that's a good thing.
Yeah. Ultimately, Light made the right call. He knew something was up. So
he wasn't even content to just give him the base kit. He's like, okay, you're gonna keep percolating in your pod. I'm gonna build you more upgrades. Because what if my poor boy gets out there and those acidic space bugs are really acidic? More armor, more parts. I'm going to die in like a week. Okay, let's digitize my consciousness so I can look after my boy. Yeah. Rock, roll, go put these capsules around the planet for your younger brother.
Hide them really well in some cases that you can't get to. On the one hand, I understand what you mean, Happy Times. But on the other hand, he just wants to make sure he's prepared for all things. So, I don't know. We've never seen X out of the armor, though, really. So
I don't think he can.
But
I think that's his body.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I think there's official art of him and or Zero with no helmet, and they don't have hair or a head underneath. It's just electronics.
Right, yeah. I think that's true. So, but then again, we also have the different costumes and outfits that are in Mega Man X Dive, which are probably not canon, but...
No, but again, there they have their helmets on. Like, they don't get to take those off. Whereas, surprisingly, all the female Riploids have full heads of hair and almost perfectly normal human bodies under all that armor.
Boy, I wonder why. Gotcha.
I don't know. I want them to retcon it so that the boys can take their helmets off too, for pity's sake.
Just put make the boys, let the boys, they don't need their armor all the time. Hedge Sonic 11 is here with a question. Sega hired to write the modern reboot of a game. Let's call it Scries of Arabia for legal distinction. And while it is a sequel, your only caveat is that it can't lean on the first game outside of minor references and the returning cast. What's the plot?
So I may or may not already have a dev document kind of sitting around just because, God, I want this. That's already kind of built in the mindset of I'm never going to be able to touch this franchise. So how can I just toe the line enough and not get sued if I actually do something with this?
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine a world that is, we'll say, a generation later, and there are large steps to peace because those who inherited the post-Sylvite world, number one, most of the major nations got flattened. And number two, the next generation is like, man, our predecessors sucked. Let's make things better. But, mistakes are made. Good intentions can go bad. There are misunderstandings. And so there are tensions now. And there's a darkness from that dark rift that is trying to capitalize on this. And so you start off as somebody who has conveniently lost their memory because, darn it, that's just a very easy narrative mechanic. And as you adventure, you hear stories of how the King of Rogues supposedly had a child, but they may have gone missing. I don't know. It's so they're so secretive about it. I wonder why. And then you can navigate the story in such a way that you can embrace that identity, and you are the long lost next generation who wanted to go out and make a name for yourself so you don't ride on your father's coattails. You want to make your own mark in history, and that he was so afraid of you enduring all the hardships or worse that he did. He got a little overprotective, which is a forgivable crime. Or take it on the route that, no, you're just somebody else entirely, and there's a mysterious figure out there yet to be found, and that's part of that world. It's full of mysteries and discoveries and ghost stories, and you explore who came after and faster ship battles and I don't want to go whole hog on this because I do have a legit idea. I do want to see this come to fruition, even if I have to like just crap out something with RPG Maker. It needs to be done just for my own peace of mind. So I don't know. It's all what I just said was super vague and probably not even remotely tantalizing, but I have ideas. God, I have ideas.
I am tantalized. Speaking of tantalizing, there's a question for me up next here. Oh boy.
Indeed. This question comes from Hedgie. They ask, Kyle, you're the more music centro of the duo. Answer me this. Are you familiar with Silva Gunner's content? If so, what's your favorite mashup by them? If not, what are some good video game mashup songs you've heard in general, joke related or not? Ian, feel free to weigh in too.
I am very familiar with the amazing work of Silva Gunner and the video game music meme factory that they have become. I love it. So, yes, very familiar with them. As far as a favorite mashup, I can't choose just one. There's way too many. Geez. Some of the ones I'm thinking of, I don't think are Silva Gunner remixes either, but they fall under the same sort of VGM mashup umbrella, so throw them out there too. There's one Silva Gunner rip that's it's by Gametal, aka Johnny Atma, and it's a cover of Hit That by The Offspring, but it's done in the style of Splatoon. And it's very, very good. And it's very funny. It's very well done. I actually did an entire Silva Gunner episode of my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which I think a lot of those would be some of my favorites. I know some of my favorite folks who have contributed to Silva Gunner, like the ones that I always seem to end up enjoying from guys like DM Dokuro and Dante and Botanic Sage, I think is another one. Toonlink did the classic Wii Shop and Hotline Bling mashup. That's like super old school. That's a very good one. Another one I like is the Cass's Theme Fusion collab from Breath of the Wild. Cass's theme is just excellent in general, but the Fusion collab is just a whole bunch of different variations of it in different styles with different elements and different people coming together to do a big arrangement of it, and that's really fun. And if you're interested, you can head on over to kngi.org and then look for Nitro Game Injection, and it'll be episode number 438, and you can check out some of my favorite other Silva Gunner remixes there. I also like one that I've been really addicted to lately is Parappa the Rapper 2 combined with In the Club by 50 Cent by Botanic Sage. And it's very, very good. It's very, I don't know, it's earwormy. It works really well. So that's another Botanic Sage one. You actually put me on another Botanic Sage track recently, Ian.
That was the only one I could think of off the top of my head.
Rules of Tekken.
Rules of Tekken.
Yeah, which combines Tekken 7 with Live and Learn and oh shoot, I forget the name of the song, but it's from Metal Gear Rising.
Rules of Nature and
then Devil May Cry.
Devil Trigger, yeah.
Devil Trigger, yeah.
And one other one.
Live and Learn. Yeah, it's Tekken 7.
There's another Revengeance song in there, but yeah. You might have to sit down while listening to that one because it goes hard and it does not stop.
Botanic Sage in general goes pretty hard. My favorite one from them, and will probably always be one of my favorites forever. I cannot unhear it. It will never leave my head. Is Bowser's theme from Mario Kart 8 combined with Uptown Funk, with the vocals of Uptown Funk over it, and it works. It works way too well.
I have to look that one up.
I have no idea how those songs were written independently of each other, and yet they are like made for each other. It's amazing.
I don't know. Have we seen Bruno Mars and
So-
Bowser in the same room at the same time?
No, we haven't. Uptown Bowser. Yes, that's what it's called. It is a fantastic mashup. I love that one. There's a lot of Linkin Park crossover with Infinite themes, which makes a lot of sense, and they work surprisingly well, or maybe not so surprising. Yeah, there's so much out there. There's so much freaking content. Obviously, there's the whole Space Jam ones, and I forget who did it, and I forget if it was a Silva Gunner thing or not. But there's a mashup of Rail Canyon from Sonic Heroes with Train by Quad City DJs, and that one works really well too. So yeah, so much good stuff out there. So much. I don't know. I can't really just go down to one. You got any more you want to add, Ian? Or
Oh, no. You have covered that sufficiently, I'm sure.
okay, good. Alrighty. I'm sure there's many more out there. If you have any other suggestions or recommendations, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. Here's one from Hero of Light 13. You've talked before about wanting to avoid that potential power creep issue that plagues series like Dragon Ball sometimes. Well, I like it. So my question is, if Sega suddenly did an about-face and told you that you had to incorporate more power elements into Sonic, more forms or more characters getting access to forms, potential planet-busting, dimension-shaking elements, stuff like that, what's the best way you think would be to approach it while still addressing some of the pitfalls of that type of shonen style? I agree that it risks getting it to be a bit much, but honestly, the current state feels a bit too limited by comparison. LOL.
I think you need to approach it with some kind of reset in mind. Like, the way Gurren Lagann did it, or, what is the proper name of Power Rangers in Japan?
Super Sentai.
Thank you, Super Sentai. Where, they started getting to ludicrous levels of power until God descended and said, "Stop it, or I'm nuking you." And so that explained why everybody just kind of toned it back. Gurren Lagann gets just ludicrous there at the end. So the escalation is certainly fun. Absolutely. Everyone should get in this scenario, everyone gets their own special super forms unlocked through some special means individually, because they need that to answer whatever new threat has arisen. Maybe Eggman finds a new power source and you just need something that's super level to match it. Normal chutzpah isn't going to get you through it anymore. Maybe aliens, that's always a good one to throw in there. Hey, it's aliens and they're more powerful. Why not? Hypersonic would then become the next level up. If super is now the baseline, then hyper would be the next one up. And then because we're going our crazy escalation, something would have to happen where hyper became the new baseline and a new form up from that, and so on and so forth. Eventually you lose. You can't stay planetary at that point. It just gets, the power levels being thrown around are just so big that the collateral damage can't be ignored. And then you start getting interplanetary or interdimensional, and then you run the risk of losing what the core of the series is. Then you start having to find explanations of why everyone is able to keep up with this, or what are they doing when they're left behind? How do you stay engaged when you are doing planet-busting spin dashes and whatnot? And by the end of it, there needs to be some kind of cataclysmic return to form. Whatever the energy source is gets burned out. Whoever the aliens are get blown up. Something, so that you return back to just simple drop dashes and figure 8 peel outs. So that is your base level cool. And then you can build up again, maybe. But the spectacle is certainly there. I ain't going to argue with that. That's good fun. But I feel like there needs to be an end to it, because you can only go so big. I'm perfectly content where we are now, where the focus is the heroes and their adventures and reasonable trials and tribulations for them. I prefer Supersonic to be a special event that when it pops out, you're like, oh, now it's serious. Like we intentionally did not do that in the first arc for IDW. I on purpose left it to be the finale of Metal Virus so that it would be a big special thing. So, but if you want to throw all that to the wind and just go bigger and better, then I don't know, just find cool names for everybody, a fun way to update the design, with some fun razzle dazzle to toss onto everybody, and then just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm ready for Ultra Instinct big. Why not? I mean, I think he's already gone Ultra Instinct, though, to be fair.
I mean, that is his base level,
that's his normal default state. He just doesn't use that power, because if he did, it would literally cause the entire planet to just explode. So,
God Machine Eggman and Super Mega Ultra Hyper Guru Sonic tearing the cosmos apart until Big just reaches up and grabs them both by the ear. That's enough. It's time to come home.
Super D-duper Sonic.
More perfecter Sonic.
Super D-duper pooper scooper Sonic. We have a question here from Jolene B. You've mentioned that if you were to bring back the SAT-AM cast for IDW, you likely wouldn't be able to draw on any Archie elements. Are you at all worried that only having the cartoon to work from would mean losing out on what makes some of these characters, Antoine, beloved in the first place?
I don't think so. I mean, it worked in the post-reboot, didn't it? We couldn't reference any of the pre-reboot stuff. We pretty much had to look at what came from SAT-AM and the games and adapt from there.
Yeah, but the characterizations were still carried over
similar,
for the most part.
But those were built off the foundation from SAT-AM. Sure,
right.
They had grown, but that just means if we have to go back to that base level, which IDW Sonic is the same thing, go back to base level. Here is a new continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have room to grow and explore those characters in new ways. So maybe Antoine could go back to something what was familiar to older Archie fans, or maybe he could go in a new direction. Something different. My goodness.
What?
How refreshing.
No, I do not. No. Different? No. Ian, get out. Actually, no, don't get out yet, because we got one more question. And I can't answer this one. This one's all you, buddy. This one's from Jams. Death battle time. Prelates or Zombots? Let's say in both cases the big bad managed to make their entire world their respective monsters. Which faction wins?
I am going to have to give this one to the Prelates.
It's a Prelates?
Because
Prelates? I don't know, man.
I think it's Prelates. Because they're weaponized from the get-go, and they are faster, more autonomous. They are independent. They can, seek out targets by themselves, whereas the Zombats are just a shambling horde. They're aggressive, but there is no direction or particular malice to them. That's what made the Deadly Six a big problem, because then they could actually control and direct the tide. But even then, you have a mass versus a whole slew of characters with not only their natural abilities still intact, but additional powers. So, yeah, I'm thinking Prelates.
See, and I just thought maybe it was like a weird pun. They're prelates. They're pre-late, which means they're early. Right? That's what that means. I mean...
Actually, I don't know the origin of the word prelate now. I should look that up.
I don't know either. Was it something they made up?
No, it's a real word. I just don't remember where I got it from.
Oh. Was it you? You did that one? That was you?
Yeah.
I thought prelates were much earlier than you. But, okay, well, maybe I'm thinking of the Zorda. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that was pre-me. That's something else entirely.
I don't know, man. There's so much weird stuff in Archie Sonic. I'm so confused and scared, and Ian, to thank all the people.
I think I will. Big thank you to everyone who supports this show via patreon.com/ BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Dave M., Coupling Crew 128, Duas Diz Din, Jay Frost, Salute Your Cat, Andrew D., Hero of Light 13, Scruffy Matt, Ryan D., Chris A., Sony, John M., Noni, Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Fiona M., Chevelle, Invade Turbo Tunas, Ben W., Blue Titled Gamer, Keeper of Monsters, Tick Tick, Axis, Xanderoni the Painter, Final Neil, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Jonathan Inkpants is missing his actual pants. The name is X, Justin S., Solaris Stain, Nimric, Godzilla, Dabbler the Dalek, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., Ava Arctic, Pedantic Cat, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Arcfighter, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Nondle, Professor Rye, Drac the Animator, Cameron H., Les, Jennifer H., Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon Oriukin, Joshua S., Omegawatt, Preston M., Noah S., Finest Cacophony, Alex G.S., Kojiro Highwind, Supersonic Van, Awesome Cakester, Radry, Jolene B., Chase L., Dapper Shinks, Just a Mountain Soul, Callum Q., Red Wolf, Ty H., Starsec and Tails, Maddie H., KJB, John the Real Luigi, Derucival, In Zephyr, Mox, The Marble Gardener, Owen BD, Lemur Chicken, Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77, Wild 48, Miles the Prower, Navari, Exidel, Agent Kaz, T Ranger, For Sonic Fan, Lewis J, Michael P, Rhythm Raccoon, Fenris Asger, Pap, Delta God 77, Maggie Sawdust, Pig Dan 20, Ty Cyan, Jamal S, Oz Jam, Shimmy M, Angela V, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Phi, Timon B, Thievius, Smiley 21, The Flower Garden, Sammy S, Spiral Sinshi, Tetsu Knife, Fang the Werehog, Krubo, Chaosonic 1, Sky the Desu, Supernova, Indabend, The Disgayan, Superior Pizza, Charlie B, Chaos Shadow, Sonic PAJ, Alex Art Here, Blue Rat, Darth Grader, Green Hill Zone 99, Hedge Sonic 11, Hedgie, Mobius, Nokonori, Scourge Time, Speedweed, Steph Cube, Zek Cartoonist, Frost the White Lion, Danny the Light, Ryoko Shion, Zoom, Phelps G, Metamode, and Wheels 282 Hedgehog.
That's a lot of people.
That is 154 people. No, 153. I can math.
What? No, the fact you were so quick to correct yourself on that leads me to believe maybe you can't. I don't know.
You can't prove it one way or the other. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got me. You got me. Ugh. Thank you, everybody, for your unending support, and that's very much appreciated. That's all I got.
Yep. We'll see you Wednesday for more Priority Q&A, Friday for the standard Q&A. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See ya Wednesday, or next time, if you're listening to this later and it's past Wednesday. See you on the episode that we'll be releasing on Wednesday, but you may not be listening to on Wednesday. Whatever. Just get out of here. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You're doing a great job there, Kale. Oh, you're working with a podcast.
1, 2, 1, 2.
We got more than 2 problems.
Oh, we got a lot. Take a trip to the sailors.
All right, we go to
Board Courage.
Well, I did like having like a day off per week. But
what? A day off? No.
It's meetings. And usually they're like, hey, we need to do this week. Are you free? It's like, yes.
Are you?
Well, I bill by the hour, so yes.
Oh. Are you billing me by the hour?
Oh, God, no.
Oh. Well, why not? Maybe you should be.
You wouldn't make any money on this.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should bill. Maybe we should bill everybody by the hour. We just went to by the month. Why do we do that? We should have gone to by the hour. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
No, I'm stretching my neck. It's already tight as if we just finished a recording session and we haven't even started.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Mario.
no. Oh, oh no.
For the 25 thing.
25 thing?
For the question, the 30-minute question thing.
Like 25 years old?
No.
Oh,
the new incentive tier.
No, okay. That thing. Okay, yeah. What's up?
I had a thought. What if they submit like 20 paragraph long questions and it takes us more than a half an hour to get through it? You know?
That's what editing is for, my friend.
Yeah.
That's what me going in and cutting out vast swaths of their questions.
Okay, so
is what it's for. Is what I do. Yes. Or
Do
of us saying, hey, no,